Welcome back to Wine After Five. Today, we're interviewing a woman with a deep expertise in financial markets. She specializes in crafting tailored solutions that drive business success. With a proven track record of leading high-performing teams and navigating complex sales cycles, she thrives in a dynamic environment. Beyond numbers, she is passionate about mentorship, strategic growth, and building lasting client relationships. Having experienced the immigration process firsthand, she understands resilience and adaptability. People love to follow her journey, and I'm excited to share her story and insights to inspire others. Without further ado, let me present you Marjorie Hiraldo. Hi, Marjorie. How you doing?
Hi, Marianne. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here in Wine After Five. I'm very, very excited.
Cheers to you. And if you have been following this channel and the dynamics that we have when we interview people, we will use the same dynamic with you today, and it is 7 questions with Marjorie Hiraldo. Thank you so much again for accepting the invitation to come into the channel and to talk to
My
the
pleasure.
audience today. So with that said, Marjorie, I want us to go straight to the first question of today's interview because we have a lot to unpack today. You have a gift for making people feel important and inspiring them to follow you. So even though you do not have a bigger presence in social media or you do not dedicate yourself to be an influencer, you are the description of an influencer. You come to people's life, you influence them to become better, to see the brighter side of the things regardless of the situation. And I want you to share with me and with our audience today, how do you develop this type of leadership, and what is an advice that you will give others that are looking to create the same impact as you have been creating?
Well, I'm flattered. So basically, my leadership style is based on empathy and transparency. I like to talk, to focus on people as individuals instead of as just employees. I believe that whenever you see them, you treat them as people, they feel seen, they feel heard, they become more engaged and more motivated. And this approach came from past experiences where I had a boss where that person was only focused on the task instead of me or developing me. So at the time, I remember it made me disengaged, and I went to work, I did what I had to do, I clocked out, and I went home, right? So right then and there, that's when I realized the importance of creating an environment where people feel heard, where they have a purpose, where they feel like they belong, and with that being said, you're going to have a more engaged employee. So that I learned very early on, and that's what helped me get to where I'm at today.
That's a great answer. And it aligns with stuff that I've been saying throughout the life of this channel. And it is the fact that when we are leaders, we might not notice it, but we are influencing the leadership style of other people, whether in a positive or in a negative way. So from that particular example that you provide us with, you learn how not to do things. And that takes me to the second questions of today's interview. One thing is defining your leadership style and know who you want to be or how do you want to lead. But a totally different one, it's to build teams from scratch and let them through uncertainties. Because it's easy to say, I will have done that different. But when you are in the spotlight, when you don't know what's coming your way, it is harder than it looks like. I want you to share with us today, what do you believe are the core qualities of a strong team, and how do you foster those as a leader?
All right. So for me, this one is built on threefold. First, there's trust, then there's communication, and then alignment. So to break it down, trust is the cornerstone. I mean, without trust, there's nothing. You have to enable collaboration, you have to enable risk taking, creativity, and at the same time, you have to ensure that the team members feel supported so they can be themselves and express themselves. And then for communication is also crucial for success. It's not just about being clear, but you have to listen. You have to listen actively and not just listen to what's being said. You have to listen to what's not being said, because those employees that don't say much are usually the ones that have a bigger, that at the end of the day, it can help you in your operation. Lastly, when it comes to alignment is also key. You have to ensure that everyone has a common vision, and not only the vision, but the purpose. Everybody has a purpose. So individual efforts, they remain focused and coordinated, even when there's challenges. So that's my take on those core values.
I love what you said about active listening, because there is a reason why the active is in front of the word listening. It's not just listening for the sake of it. It's not going through the process, ask questions just because I need to give you the feedback because I'm the manager and it's part of my role, my job description. It's sitting there because I do care about you as a human first. I need to understand what's going on in your mind, what's going on with you emotionally, personally, physically.
Exactly. That's also very important. It's funny you pointed that out because fostering that relationship with your employee is crucial. It goes a long way because when they see that you care, right? When they see that you care for them and that you're involved, it makes a huge difference.
And that also helps to develop business culture, because at the end of the day, if you are the manager that decide to stop the circle and to actively listen to your team and make sure that everyone is in alignment, as you were mentioning it, which are truly the core values of developing a great team, your team will therefore be performing better. They will feel more motivated to go to the business or to the company. They will be more motivated to engage with each other, to help with each other. They will have the trust in you to come and ask you if they have any questions, if they don't understand something, if there's a process or a technology that is not working accordingly. Some people refrain from telling their managers because they feel they're gonna get fired, or
Right.
the manager will think that they're coming after them. But when you foster that trust and then you make sure that what they're saying is in alignment with what the company needs and what the team needs, the results that you get out of it, it's a bulletproof team.
Agreed. 100%.
So these are skills that you cannot learn in college, you cannot learn in school. You learn it one in the practice. The fact that you have that mentality and that you can clearly define those three core values for a highly effective team, showcase your experience, but there's also the experiences that you have had outside of the work environment. And I want to take this conversation a little bit more personal and shift gears away from the things that happen within a company and now talk about the things that happen within a personal life. Do your life impact you, and how do you take the difficult situations that happen throughout your life and transform it into something positive? And you are a master on that skill. The third question for today, the audience that we have today in One After Five will be able to have a better grasp of your background. Can you take us back to one of the hardest moments and share what motivates you to reveal after hitting rock bottom?
Well, that's a very personal one. So at this point in time in my life, I am actually more comfortable talking about it than before because it's not that I'm over it, but you live through it, you grow and you learn from it. So one of the hardest times in my life came when, and this is when I hit really, really rock bottom. It was after breaking the law. I was pregnant. I paid my debt to society and I got deported to the DR. I mean, it felt like I had everything I worked for fell apart all at once, personally, professionally. I mean, the isolation was overwhelming. I questioned everything about myself. I had to question my worth. But through that, I realized that my motivation was pretty much to rebuild and reconnect with what truly mattered. My son, my core values, the understanding that failure was a teacher, leaning on those that still cared about me because let me tell you, a lot of people turned their backs on me, and that was very tough because I was like, "Oh my God, where are you when I need you the most?" And you question everything. And again, my motivation wasn't a grand vision of success, but it was the quiet certainty that I wasn't quite done yet, that I had a lot of work to do for myself and for my family and my son. More importantly, for my son. But that time it was tough because I had to start from scratch and I didn't know where, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had to do it.
Thank you so much, Marjorie, for sharing that soft spot of your life with us. And to come as you are and showing us the good, the bad of being who you are. Because at the end of the day, those circumstances taught you lessons that now you're able to share with us today. So thank you so much
Absolutely.
for being so open and for not holding back. And as you said, it's heartbreaking when I hear you say that, because we often feel like we have touched rock bottom. And I will use my self as an example. At the moment in which I felt that I touched rock bottom in my life, I had my family support. Like, I have, in opposition to what happened to you, more people approached me, more people were there to support my journey, to help me rebuild what I thought I lost. And I'm telling you, these were dark times in my life, the darkest of
I
times.
hear you.
Now,
I hear you.
seeing
It's tough.
and putting it in perspective, as you said, you needed to rebuild everything without people support.
Yep.
Like
With nothing.
you might have two or three people that want to help you through that situation, but most people didn't want to be associated with you, and people that you thought were going to be there forever, they just disappear on you. They didn't even give you the benefit of the doubt. They didn't ask the right questions to you, understand
They
your
judge you. They automatically judge you. And that was the hardest part because you don't want this to define you, and it doesn't define you. It's not who you are. It's a mistake you made and you want to grow from it. But people, a lot of people, and it's very sad, they're very judgmental to this day and age, and they don't understand. So rather than asking, as you mentioned, what happened? Why did it happen? What was going through your mind? It's easier to just judge.
It's awful because I understand the judging part because people need to understand the reasoning behind that. But the abandonment, the leaving you, to not be there to support you when most likely you were there to support those people through dark moments in their life. I do have an episode in this channel, in case you guys haven't watched it yet, in which I talk about the importance or the wonders of being broken. Because I feel that when life broke you or break you in that way, it's because you need to be reshaped to something bigger, to something better, in order to be able to hold every positive thing that is coming your way. And I think that that's true. It was true to me when I went to my darkest time, and I can totally see that it was true to you because after those situations, you have rebuilt and you have created or surround yourself with people that truly care about you, that you truly care about them. And as I said on the prior questions, you are able to build teams from scratch and to influence people to be willing to follow you. I think you have the capacity to bring more than 50% of any company with you, whatever you move. And people will not even ask you, what are they doing there?
I've
What's the
done it
best?
before.
They will just want to follow you because of what you represent for them.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
You
Exactly.
embrace your mistakes, you learn from them, you vouch to do not make them again. Whatever people throw your way, you already thought about it and you already overcome it.
Exactly. Just
And
keep it moving.
that to me, it's a similar definition to resilience. And that
Yes.
opens the panel, the next question. Because as you guys have seen, resilience is a word that it doesn't come as a surprise for any of the people watching us today. It's often associated with you. My question for you is, what does resilience mean to you personally and how it has shaped your journey, both your personal journey and your professional journey?
All right. So resilience. I thought about tattooing that. I just don't know where, but I really like that word. So resilience, it's taught me that setbacks aren't failures, but opportunities to grow, to stay true to my values, especially when things get tough. It's helped me become more adaptable, better prepared, for whatever challenges come next. I mean, ultimately, resilience is about believing that no matter how many times you fall, you can rise again stronger and wiser than before. Through my experience, i I grew a found love for the phoenix bird, and I usually compare myself to that. I even have that tattooed on my arm because from the ashes you grow once again, and when you do, it's like amazing.
Another question, Marjorie, that I cannot avoid to ask because going back to what we were talking, and I don't want to just skip through that. Your journey has involved loss, a
Yes.
lot of loss, a lot of loss of people that just abandoned you and they're still alive, the loss of people that were your support and they are not longer with us. And you have need to navigate through those situations practically by yourself or by yourself and your child. So you need
Correct.
to navigate loss, sorrow, and still being strong mother for your child. How have those experiences shaped your perspective on life and leadership?
Well, loss, it's been a tough teacher. It's I would say the toughest teacher, but it's also given me a deeper appreciation of what truly matters. It reminds you that life is fragile, and the importance of being present. It teaches you that you have to be present, not just there, for both myself and for others. And when it comes to leadership, it's taught me empathy. It's taught me patience, the power of supporting others through tough times. I've learned that the true strength isn't just achieving success. It's how we handle loss and hardship, that we use those experiences to connect, to uplift everyone around us. Loss is loss, but how do you overcome that? How do you navigate through it is what truly defines you as a person.
Marjorie, thank you for your answer. And I'm sorry if you feel uncomfortable going back to this topic. What I do
No worries.
like my audience would like a little bit more of details and information in regards
Okay.
of how the topic of thought production shape your life. Because
Okay.
regardless of it, especially at the moment in which we're recording this video, that might be the reality for a lot of the people or the immigrant living in North America. Not necessarily because they commit a major crime, but because as it's the law, they have broken the law by entering the country without the proper authorization. The government call it without a proper invitation. So
Right.
it is a life altering event that you went through and that many people might face in the months to come, again, based on the time in which we are recording this video. So can you share how did that experience change you and what is the message that you have for others that might be facing or might be forced actually to start over in a new place or in a place that they have never called home?
All right. So first and foremost, being deported is not the end of the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. When it happened, it shook me to my core. It forced me to rebuild everything from scratch. It challenged my sense of identity. But, in the process, I learned that starting over isn't a setback, is an opportunity for reinvention. And going back to the other questions, it taught me resilience, it taught me humility and the power of adapting. That was the beauty of it, that I had to adapt. So for anyone facing a similar challenge, my message is this, don't see that starting over as a failure. Look at it as a chance to redefine who you are and what you want to become in life. It could be difficult at first, especially when you're not familiar with the area, you don't have anybody to support you, but it's also a space where you can grow, you can discover new strengths, you can find new paths. And in my experience, I didn't have my immediate family here. My mom, my dad, my brother, my grandma, my grandpa. I didn't have my best friends, my inner circle. They were not here. But in the interim, it's going to be 10 years in April. I have met the best people life could ever have given me. I have friends that I consider family, and I got that because of that situation. So, don't you have to embrace the uncertainty, trust the ability that you're going to adapt, and even though these are the toughest times, there's always a chance for something better. So again, it's not the end of the world. You will live. I know I did.
Marjorie, it's amazing how you like the phoenix, as you mentioned. I don't think you can have a better tattoo, but you are the definition of the phoenix. As you said, you were removed from everything that was familiar to you and that you knew, and you were able to rebuild and to become stronger, to rediscover yourself. And not only rediscover yourself, but you were able to redefine yourself.
That's
So
right.
you were able to see the amazing opportunity that life, God was giving you and take advantage of it at its fullest.
Correct.
Believe it or not, we are already on the seventh question. I feel like the time flew by. I feel a roller coaster of emotions, like I've been suffering for you every time in which you have mentioned any of your lowest, cheering for you every time in which you have taken us through that journey of how hard it was, but knowing that you will come victorious in the next time because you're here. You have
Right.
become better, not only on the professional environment, not only a great manager, currently a great chief of operations, but you have become an example of resilience, influence, and a great human being. And I want to take that emotional journey and ask you the last question for today. If you could speak to someone who is in their lowest point right now, who is touching rock bottom and cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, what will you tell them to help them ignite their own inner panic?
All right. So if you're at your lowest point, feeling the weight of the world is on your shoulders, I want you to know this. Even in the darkest time, there's always a spark within you, something that cannot be shaken, something that can rise from the ashes. Life is going to challenge you, sometimes in ways that you never thought possible. You're going to lose people in the way. You're going to feel broken, and it's okay. You can feel broken, but don't stay broken. That's very important. Even if you are, don't stay that way. Take small steps. Find the moment of strength. Hold on to the belief that you're not defined by your struggles or what happened or people judging you. That's not what defines you. You've survived every moment that brought you here, and do what it takes to rebuild. There's a saying that I really love and I learned along the way. You never know how strong you can be until you have to be. So just keep moving.
Wow, I'm speechless. And that's odd for me because I love to talk since I have this podcast. Marjorie, I don't have words again to thank you for joining Wine After Five today. And I think that
It was my pleasure to be here.
the best way in which I can say thank you is by toasting.
Yes.
So let's raise our glass for resilience, for strength, for discovering who we truly are. And as you said, for not only rediscovering ourselves, but redefining who we want to become. Thank you so
Yes.
much for inspiring us and for showing us
Absolutely.
that what I said, it's true. Only us know the challenges and the difficulties that we have needed to face, and only us understand where those challenges and those sacrifices will take us moving forward.
That's
So
right.
cheers.
Cheers to you.
And thank you very much for being here today. For the rest of you, I hope to see you in the next video. Go ahead and review our other interviews. We had Rafaela Flores last week and Maribel Chalas, Beatriz Torres, and a whole bunch more. I will leave the playlist here. Hope to see you there, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.